You are here for this week's energy forecast, and I want you to know this video goes in tandem with a Psychic Notes video that I am going to release them simultaneously. Galactic Federation of Light. Not only did they show up to channel, they boomed. So I'm coming to this video kind of like, woof, it was a lot, it was good. Once you watch this video, go watch the Psychic Notes video, watch Psychic Notes, come back and watch this one. They go hand in hand, all right? There's a lot of information going on this Sunday morning of May 18th, 2025. We've got a lot to informationally cover, but two announcements for you. If you didn't already catch it, my intuitive take on the state of the nation, that video is out. I released it on Thursday. It is in my link tree or on my website, www.somaticmoney.com, over on the video tab. And if you have purchased any digital products from me and they did not come through, please contact me. Contact me at Dana, D-A-N-A, at somaticmoney.com. This service with Shopify is so much better than the previous one. I am losing so fewer people through the cracks, but there's still a few people falling through the cracks. So if that is you, please contact me and I will get you squared away. Second announcement, our next live is going to be next Sunday, May 25th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. This is a free live on Zoom. We are revisiting the money manifestation, money story theme area. I'm going to be telling a story about how my then husband Bob and I purchased our dream home for no money down and very low credit. It is an incredible manifestation story, and the things that I'm going to be dropping in this story, not only do you get the resonance of the storyline, but I am going to be sharing specific manifestation tools, techniques, and resources that I really don't see anywhere else in the spiritual community that I want you to have. So we're going to be doing that as a free live. Go sign up on my link tree. You'll need to sign up and get your free e-ticket to be able to access this event. And afterwards, if you're there and you want the video, or if you can't make it and want the video, it will be available for $8.95 afterwards. Let's go ahead and start with the energy forecast, all right? So here's the deal. Usually I come into these energy forecasts and I got my grids and I got my write-ups and I got the Oracle deck, Oracle cards, and I'm all ready to go, and I kind of do. That's what I usually do, right? Well, as I was coming into this for the last couple of hours, there'd be this like wave of information would flow through, and I kind of absorb it and take that in. Another wave of information would flow through and absorb it. And then Spirit Team was like, news story. Like they brought up all these news stories and started dropping information through all that. And the more I was in this energy center of all of this, the more I kind of started getting a little bit angry, a little bit more pissy. Like my somatics were like, just kind of like pissed off. Not at you guys or not at me, but just kind of like about the dynamics that I see going on. And there's almost too much information here for me to I'm almost kind of like, where do I begin? But let's give ourselves a focal point. I wrote this down ahead of time. Here's the focal point. The focal point is activity does not necessarily mean activations. I think if we can keep that in front of ourselves this week, I think it's going to save us a lot of grief, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy. Like when I look at this week, it is like tornadoes taking out windmills. Take that in. And let me rephrase it. It's kind of like unaware, stupid tornadoes taking out well-meaning windmills. That's kind of an extreme version of the landscape, and this is why I'm kind of pissed off about stuff, because I see things being astrologically driven, but there's a lot of human error going on inside of that can be avoided, and this is me being a little bit like, heads up people, heads up. All right, let's start from the top. Some of the news headlines. I am beginning to see some other psychics go, oh, portals are opening, activations are happening, green light, go, everybody go. No, this week, tornadoes, unaware tornadoes taking out well-meaning windmills. Be very careful, people. And this is where I'm going to plug in for you. You know the last video about the whole talking with trees thing and talking with plants and talking with all of that? I had a huge bank of wise trees say to me 24 hours ago, they said, Dana, it is going to be a crazy week. Stay home. Trees said that to me. Okay. So I'm seeing all of this stuff. Like I'm beginning to see this psychic or, that energy person, like portals are opening up over here. Activations are happening. Get ready, people. It's go time. This is what I'm going to say to you. Activity does not necessarily mean activation. So yes, we have been in the sludge of what's been going on in May. We've been in the sludge, and so beginning to feel some energy or movement is going to be so titillating. It is going to feel so good. I can even feel it this morning. I'm like, running around. But look at that. Running around. Okay, so this is going to be a great week to feel that energy lift, feel that come up, and then plant your feet and be very aware of the landscape. Because there's going to be a lot of unaware people. I'm going to tell you about some headlines. There's going to be a lot of unaware people going, and they're going to be doing crazy shit. Let's take a look at the headlines. All right. So first, and this is part of the reason why I'm angry. We had a swath of tornadoes cut through Kentucky and Missouri in the last 48 hours or so. And because of the Doge cuts to the National Weather Service, the warning for these tornadoes was not what it should be. And it's looking like the death count on these tornadoes is higher than it should be. So unaware people doing stupid shit, causing other people money damage, life damage, energy damage, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's number one. Next one. Have you all heard about the Annabelle doll? Yeah, this caught my attention, and it's kind of hinky. This is the weird stuff going on. The Annabelle doll, which was owned by the Warrens, who were supernatural resources, evidently this doll is possessed, and the people in the know are basically saying, don't move the doll, don't move the doll. Well, guess what? The doll got moved. The doll is on tour and went to Louisiana, and not that these are related events. Maybe it's the astrology, I don't know, but, jailbreak, 10 murderers out on the run because an unaware prison guard was doing stupid shit. Then the largest plantation in the South burned to the ground. Oh dear. Oh, then this one. This was the one that really caught my attention. The Mexican sailing ship in Brooklyn that got released into the waters with all of this celebration and then ran right into the Brooklyn Bridge. Mastheads came down and 2 people died and a whole bunch of people were injured and a bunch of sailors were caught up in those masts. Who was in charge of measuring the mass before they tried to go under that bridge? Case in point. Whirling dervish, a lot of activity, a lot of unaware stuff going on, people getting hurt in the process. Are you getting the message? Trees out on my lane that I talked to basically said, Dana, it's going to be a crazy ass week. Just stay home, watch. So word to the wise, navigate wisely this week. We're not done yet. Then, I keep hearing about these portal openings and this and that, and then somebody mentioned something about CERN, and I went and looked up CERN. That's that big super collider in France, right? They revved up CERN on May the 5th. Scientists are all having their wet dream because they're like colliding things. Oh, nothing's going to happen because of that. Oh no, but the psychics, the intuitives, like, we know that shifts things. We know that changes things. And then all of a sudden everybody's talking about, portals opening. There's a big portal that opened in South Dakota, North Dakota. Uh-oh. People, more unaware stuff happening that could cause damage or harm to other well-intended people. Do you see where this is all going? Let me see if I've got any more examples. Do you see why I started getting pissy? I started getting pissy with all of this. Now, partly, I do believe this is astrologically driven. We are going to take a look at this. I will show you some highlights here, but this is me getting in front of you kind of like as a, red alert, warning, that, there's unhinged stuff going on. And the crazy thing is like, a lot of this could be avoided. Like the doll could stay home and not go on tour. People could be a lot more aware, so there's no jailbreaks. Measurements could be happening, so sailing ships can stay intact. I mean, all of these types of things could have been taken care of and avoided, but they weren't. This is one of those weeks to like put on your safety helmet and your safety jacket and take care of the assignment and just really like, watch and look both ways before you step out in traffic this week. That's all I've got to say. Let me swing this camera around and let's take a look at what the planets are doing because, oh my God. So today is May the 18th, 2025 when I am recording this. And let's take a look down the line here. And then also I started getting into next week. All right, let's get back to this central week here. No, let's start up top here. I gotta tell you, the whole thing with Chiron sextiling Jupiter, I don't know about you guys, but I have been dealing with like apathy and a little bit of depression, and it's just not like me. And I'm like, what's the culprit? I swear to God, Jupiter expanding wounded healer, this slow churn right here, I feel like this has been the culprit right here. Well, look at Chiron and Jupiter, they end their transit here. So I suspect that as this comes off, we're going to feel more energy. And I did a pendulum check, I ran my pendulum to begin to see where energy turns on. So energy not turned on, energy not turned on, energy not turned on. It turns on like right around that 21st, 22nd line. So this is where I think a lot of psychics or intuitives are saying, we're getting activated, we're getting activated. I don't think they're lying about that. I do believe some of that's true, but man, it is some whirling dervish energy to get activated in, and I think it has something to do with Saturn moving into Aries on the same day that Mercury conjuncts Uranus. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. That is definitely unaware tornadoes taking out well-meaning windmills. So we're just kind of headed into the thick of it. But really, this crazy stuff happening. I mean, the tornadoes and the plantation burning and the doll and all of that started right around this weekend. Well, what was going on this weekend? Sun conjuncting Uranus, so that was a lot of surprises. Got a lot of surprises happening with the Sun conjuncting Uranus. And remember, Spirit Team said last week, Sun plays large. And I thought they meant solar activity, which has not been, it's been there, but not that much. But look at this. Node sextiling Sun, Sun conjuncting Uranus, surprises, Sun moves into Gemini, Sun sextiles Saturn, Sun sextiles Neptune, Sun trines Pluto. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So he's just kind of relentless with this whole thing. It's like Sun moves from one thing into another, and I think those surprises we had going on started with the Uranus thing, and then Mercury squaring up with Mars. That did not help. All right, so top of this week, what are we looking at? Sun heads into Gemini, so that's a lot of increased focus on communication, curiosity, and mental activity. And we are in the middle of then the Sun moves out of that conjunct with Uranus and does a sextile with Saturn. What's Saturn? Saturn is the taskmaster, the lesson maker. This is where we can get our ass in a ringer. Be careful of that. But then it goes right into like a la 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 Neptune intuitive. It's just weird. Uranus, Saturn, Neptune with the Sun. Are you kidding me? And then we have our asses handed to us with Sun trining up with Pluto. Yeah, a lot of Sun stuff. Now, why this line here? What is causing us to get into more activity? Well, Chiron, Jupiter's letting up with Chiron, so the wounded healer stuff should start letting up. But then I want you to take a look at this. This right here is of concern. This is that whirling dervish of things going too fast with not much awareness. Saturn into Aries. So that's like lighting a fire on karma. I mean, it's like Saturn is the taskmaster moving into the first house, and Aries just wants to rev stuff up and have fun with it and do that with Saturn. So this is like lesson making stuff. And remember, this is a pretty big movement. Saturn moving into Aries. It happens on the 24th, and Saturn's going to be in Aries until 2028. So this is a big movement. It's a very big movement. If I were you, I'd be looking up your house and figuring out what that means. But at the same time this is happening, oh yeah, Sun's trining Pluto. And Sun trining Pluto has to do with Sun in Gemini trining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. It's a time for profound inner transformation and self-discovery through communication and ideas. That is a little bit of astrology speak for getting our ass handed to us with transformation as Saturn, Lord of lesson maker and karma, headed into Aries. Are you getting the idea here, folks? And then if that's not enough, then we've got a Mercury conjunct Uranus, which is more surprises. More surprises. So we get more surprises and lightning bolts out of logistics and communication right before Mercury goes into Gemini. And if you see, Sun's in Gemini. So a lot of activity going on here. Then we also need to make note that Venus is trining up with Mars, and this is a passionate and magnetic relationship dynamic filled with confidence, flirtation, and creative momentum. So here's the zest, here's the verve, here's the I've been tired of being under wounded healer for so long, and I'm ready to, woof, come out of the closet, and I'm doing all kinds of things with the sun. And then we kind of run into a mass effect of like, I think there's going to be a lot of chaos going on here. I think Whirling Dervish is putting it kindly, and you add in that activation line. Folks, please just don't run out into traffic this week. Do not run out into traffic. I think that's what I've got for you energetically. Now, if you're reading this, I'm beginning to try and do what the downside on the week is and the upside on the week is. And if you read this, these two things are for the energy prior to that activation line. This activation line, totally different energy thing. So just want you to be aware. I still really do believe it is finding your resiliency. There is truth to this, shedding light on the unknowns, definitely, and finding out you really can do things. I really do believe this is in play, but this minus side, the uphill, the dark revealings, the challenges, like this feels like, previous to this line, okay? And I'm just going to show this as a real quick snapshot so you can see what's coming next week. We're not going to go into that right now. Oh, the other thing you need to know about this, no timeline jumps, no energy gateways. And then just a real quick snapshot on the cards, my Somatic Money Oracle deck. If you are interested in that, just follow the link tree through or go to www.somaticmoney.com. But the first card I pulled, again, was the Financial Villain Victim Heroes Triangle card, which tells me boundaries, having boundaries this week are really great, interesting. Shattering your financial witch wound really came up strongly. And I got to tell you, in the back of my head, I keep having the last 2 weeks I've been having all these conversations in the back of my head about the financial witch wound, the financial witch wound. I got to start talking about it so you guys know what I'm talking about. And then you need to know, like this landscape we're in right now, money is vulnerable. It is that feeling of money is vulnerable. And if you don't know what to do with that, you need to go to my website, www.somaticmoney.com. You need to get my 4 free pro tips. Start there. It will help you with that sensation of money feeling vulnerable. That's why I've got that there for you. That was a lot. That was a lot of information in a very short period of time. So if you have not watched it, please go watch my Psychic Notes, the Galactic Federation of Light channel. Go take a look at that. And folks, just watch before you step off the curb this week. Like really watch before you step off the curb, and watch 180 degrees behind you, because there is stuff happening that we don't have any control over. And your spidey senses, your psychic attunement, your spidey senses, talk with the plants, the trees, the animals, check in, let them give you information on how to handle and negotiate the landscape this week. It is definitely a heads up week. Make sure you are tuned in before you move forward with anything. All right, so that's what I've got for you this week. Make sure you keep walking forward so the miracles can meet you along the way, dodging all those windmills, right? All right, so, and I will see you in the next video.